Hi BookTube, it's Amy. I'm here for my Friday reads with a delicious cup of hot chocolate. So I'm reading two books at the moment. One of them is Mary Barton by Elizabeth Gaskell. I'm only a couple chapters into this, but I'm liking it so far. I find the writing style actually quite different from her other novel, North and South. She spends a lot of time at the beginning of this novel sort of setting the scene, describing the landscape, being fancy with her prose, so to speak, almost poetic. It's quite a different style of writing, whereas North and South is more straightforward, right into the characters and the movements and the plot. So far, all we've really done in the first bit of this novel is meet Mary Barton, her father, her mother, and learn that her father has aspirations for Mary not to work in a factory. Rather, he wants her to either go into service as a servant of some sort, so perhaps a lady's maid or a governess or a companion. Probably not a governess, given that she's not highly educated. Or he would like her to be apprenticed to a seamstress. And so she has these sort of high-minded ideals. She believes that if she goes into service, she'll be a servant, and as a servant, there'll always be that distinction between her and the people she serves. And as a servant, people will always know she's a servant. And so she discounts that career entirely because she has dreams of being a lady someday. She's got this aunt who ran off, and she has this idea in her mind that her aunt actually made it and elevated herself and became a lady somewhere. And so she wants to keep her options open to become a lady like this aunt who disappeared when she was a young girl. And so she chooses to become a seamstress, and she's quite pretty, so her looks help her to get the job. Her father goes about first and can't find anything for her, but she goes off on her own and, of course, finds something fairly easily because people take one look at her and realize that she would be a good model for their clothes or a good image for their business. And so she gets this apprenticeship as a seamstress. And that is where we left things at the beginning of the novel. I will read on this weekend and find out what happens after that. And then I have, of course, been reading. You may have seen my video earlier this week. I've been reading Life, Letters, and Journals by Louisa May Alcott, which is this nice little book here. Some sort of water damage or something on the boards, but that's not bad at all. It's quite a good copy. It's not falling apart at all, which is nice. I'm just over halfway through it, and I've reached the part in her life. It is essentially a biography. I've reached the part in her life where she has become successful, and she is sitting back at the age of 40 and realizing that she did everything that she said she was going to do as a young girl. She made that fortune, she got her family in a comfortable place, and now her mother can sit in this room and be comfortable and not have to worry about money, and she is able to support her sister, who is in Europe, drawing. And overall, it's just a really lovely book to read because it's a mixture of her letters to other people, to her family mainly, a mixture of her diary entries, and a mixture of the editor / author's narration. And it's actually, if we look in the front here, it's edited by Edna D. Cheney, published in 1890. So it's quite a good book, quite a good biography overall, and I guess I call it a biography because it's like part biography mixed with the actual materials that she wrote, the letters and the journal entries. And I know that her journal entries, she did go back and she edited them and revised them in her own life, so to speak, but they still are quite good. And then occasionally in here too we get a poem that she wrote. So here we have Thoreau's Flute. And it's interesting too because she conversed in her younger days with a lot of her father's friends who were literary men in the United States. So highly enjoying this one. And I'm going to sit and read some more tonight, finish it this weekend, finish Mary Barton, and that will probably be my reading for the weekend because I do have quite a busy weekend coming up. I've got a Halloween party, I've got to do my laundry at some point, and I'm going to do some much needed paperwork and errands and stuff that I need to be running. So only a little bit of reading this weekend. Let me know what you've been reading in this past week and what you plan this weekend, and I hope you all have a lovely Friday and a lovely weekend.